Today is our 300th episode. If you work 24 hours a day, that's 500 days of editing. That's equivalent to one of us sitting down for 1 year, 4 months, and 15 days non-stop. We've had to go through 56 terabytes of footage to produce 7,500 minutes of YouTube videos. That's 125 hours of content, not including Facebook and Instagram. The good news is if you want to go back and watch all of our episodes back to back in a row, it would only take you just over 5 days to watch them all, if you didn't sleep. But seriously guys, what started off as a labor of love is now a full-time job for us. We take it super seriously. We edit all of our videos right here on the boat, and we literally haven't missed a Sunday episode in over 3 years. So I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Your views and your comments motivate and encourage us to just do better and better every single week. And of course, a very special thank you to our Patreons. Anyway, enough out of me. Let's roll our 300th episode, which we've made 30 minutes long for you guys this week. Love you guys. You go to the beach? Let's go. So we are here in the Hermit Islands in Papua New Guinea, with this episode finishing in Indonesia.
Welcome to Biak.
We've had such a wholesome time here, sharing several meals with the locals, and also helped a local man named Robert build part of his traditional sailing canoe.
You're getting it pretty good like that. That's better than me with the grinder.
Yeah.
I also managed to re-glass the transom on his speedboat for him so that he could travel to other islands.
Alright, this is cured. Absolutely rock hard.
So we felt like we had really accomplished a lot in the last few days.
Very strong.
Nice, bro.
We had met 3 locals here who were looking for a ride home to the next group of islands called the Ninigo Islands. So we happily obliged as it was on our way anyway.
Morning.
We'll see you guys later. Thank you for everything.
Okay, don't be worried. And thank you for you too.
No, it's been a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah.
We'll remember Hermit Island forever.
Yes.
We're leaving at 6 a.m. in the morning so that we can complete the 50-mile journey from the Hermit Islands to Ninigo in one single day and arrive before dark. There was pretty much no wind on the forecast, so we'll be motoring all the way if this is correct. We have 2 buddy boats with us, but they are going straight to Indonesia in a couple of days.
We'll see you in Biak.
So Patrice wanted to gift the last of his Papua New Guinean cash to Silun and his wife, with strict instructions on who should spend it.
Don't give the money to Silun. He's going to spend it on stupid things. Give it to Rosemary. It's better.
That's our buddy boats. They're leaving a couple days later than us, so we'll see them in Biak.
Yeah, we're taking a few of the locals to... We're going offshore pretty much, 50 miles to the Ninigo Islands. Apparently another phenomenal spot. So I'm excited to see a little bit more of these atolls. Right now we're in a big atoll. We're in the middle of nowhere, and it's a ring of coral with some islands along the edge and on the inside. It's just incredible how these things form over millions and millions of years. But the next one, Ninigo, is much bigger. There's like 92 islands out there. So 50 miles, no wind. Let's motor.
So it was nice to catch a decent Spanish mackerel right as we were about to leave the atoll, which would feed everyone for lunch. But not only that, we caught a trevally only moments later. It must have been our lucky day because the forecast was also wrong and we actually had enough wind to sail, which was an absolute bonus. I do my fuel calculations on around 4 litres per hour, which is about $10 an hour. So just the fact that there was some wind behind us meant that I saved around $80 in fuel this day.
Nice, huh? Yeah, we're going 7 knots. We're doing like 12 kilometers an hour.
None of them had ever been on a sailboat like this, so they were pretty intrigued about the whole thing. They all know how to sail though, because one of the main modes of transport around these islands are the wooden canoes that they sail around on, like the one you saw us help build last week. It was a smooth and uneventful sail that day, and after deciding to try out a new look and trim the old beard, we were already arriving at the Ninigo Islands and we were met by some of Silun's friends. Made it to the Ninigo Islands. This is some of their friends. It's nice rocking up with some locals. We'd come into the atoll on the northern side, and it was still another 6 miles over to the main island, so we had saved the locals quite the paddle in their canoe. We had actually just found out that we were arriving in Ninigo on one of the biggest days of the year, where the government was sponsoring a sailing canoe regatta, which is why these guys were heading over to the main island. People were coming in from far and wide to enter the race, and we soon found out the reason why.
Good to be home? No. He hasn't been home in like 9 months. Russell hasn't been home in 1 year. When's the last time you were here?
Last year.
1 year ago.
Yeah.
So it's what's happening today with the canoe race? Big race, huh?
Yeah,
You gonna race?
of course.
Is Silun gonna race?
Maybe
And how much money does the winner get?
1,000.
1,000.
10,000.
10,000 Kina, which is about $2,500 US.
That kind of money can go a very long way around here, so we can imagine why everyone takes this day so seriously. It was an early start for us the next morning because we didn't want to miss any of the action.
All right, we're gonna go check out the canoe race. It's probably 6 to 8 knots of wind out here. Got a whole bunch of locals using the Wi-Fi and hanging out behind the boat. Lucky we got the security team here.
I'm so excited. I hope we get to ride in a canoe and race with the locals.
Canoe ride.
Woo!
Leave you in charge.
You're the boss.
Ciao for the dogs.
Bumper cars.
Silun and his friends were scheduled to race in their canoe that morning, so we made sure that they weren't going to be late. As we approached the beach, we saw the incredible sight of all the sailing canoes lined up ready for their first race. This place doesn't really get many foreigners coming through, so the locals seemed as excited to see us as we were to see them.
Hi.
Excited for the race?
Yes.
It's a big day today.
It's nice wind.
Yeah.
Very
But
good.
not very good.
Sorry?
I said it's not very good.
Not very good wind?
Yeah.
You want more?
Yeah.
This is so cool. Probably the biggest day of the year, and we've just rocked up.
All the boats are lined up along the beach with all their sails up. Everyone's so excited. This is sweet.
Move away.
Move away. This is like Jamaican bobsled team.
This is sweet. This is Silun's one.
The atmosphere was absolutely buzzing, and we met the very proud owner of last year's winning boat.
Oh, the champion. And again this year.
And before we knew it, all of a sudden, the race had started as the teams got pushed out to sea on their homemade sailing boats.
It just started. We had no idea.
How many races are there? 1? 2 races? One race?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
13 boats? Yeah. But you don't go on your boat?
I stay.
So they have to go around the mark?
Yeah.
So the whole village was out on the beach watching their loved ones compete. There was a lot at stake here, and as the boats got further away, it got hard to see who was actually winning. That is until Britt put up the drone and gave the locals a bird's eye view that they had never seen before. It was only a 9-mile race, but with the winds quite low, the race could take a couple of hours to complete. It was cool to see that some of the clothes we had given away had made it to some of the locals,
Hey, nice hat.
while others just wanted to touch these strange people that had sailed in on a big white boat. Meanwhile, the competitors were still out there sailing their hearts out, so we wanted to find out a little bit more about the race.
So we've been invited to the race committee tent. They've got all the money here. It's 10,000 Kina. And they had their first one last year, so this is the second one that they've ever had. But they want to make it an annual race. But the race committee here are keeping the money safe. Super exciting. And how much do you think is out there now? Oh, today 8 or 9 knots?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not too bad.
Yes.
So they have to do 4.5 miles there, 4.5 back.
Depending on the wind. We can make about 12 knots,
12 knots?
15 knots.
The boat can go 12 knots. Wow, that's fast. Biggest day of the year, I reckon.
Then, as if out of nowhere, a lovely young man appeared who was completely blind and asked if he could sing us a song.
I will sing my one favorite song. I have one favorite song. I have to sing it.
Please.
Okay.
Okay. Stay quiet, don't talking, don't make any noise. Through the man. dalawa nila to. Through the land of this life, I have wandered, and I will forgive along the way. But now I'm inside to stay. Say hello.
We were on an island off the coast of Papua New Guinea, hundreds of miles away from civilization as we know it, getting escorted through a remote village by a group of children who made us feel so welcome it had me tearing up.
Hey, buddy. What an unreal experience. Just think about where we are right now and what we're doing. It's just, yeah. Pinch me again every day. Can we have a look?
Yes.
Are we allowed?
Yes.
Is this a classroom?
Yes.
Wow.
The kids were so proud of their school, showing us all of the work that they'd been doing, who was sitting in which seats. This classroom looked nothing like the ones I grew up in, but you got such a strong sense that education was an important and fun part of their culture, to the point where learning was something that the kids were extremely proud of. This is not something I personally ever felt about school, so it was such a surreal experience witnessing this.
I feel like this is not real life. Like this blackboard and...
Yeah.
But if you read everything that's on here, they're teaching good lessons, it's very organized. This is a good school.
Yeah, that's some hard math. Look at those addition and subtraction.
Starting to remind me, yes.
The teacher punched the hole.
Where's my friend Kenneth?
Okay,
Kenneth, this is you. Did you do this? It's very good.
Yes.
So Russell, you're gonna be a teacher in here one day?
Yeah.
Yeah? When do you start? Tomorrow?
No, I'm still schooling.
I thought you finished school.
After I finish school, I will come back and teach.
You're gonna teach here?
Yeah.
So this could be your new classroom.
Mr. Colin, today's lesson. Which day is the hottest? The answer
Every
is
day.
always today. Today is the hottest. Which day is the coldest? There's never a cold day. No such thing. What's the temperature on Wednesday? Super hot.
The thing that has had a profound impact on us about Melanesia, which is the area of countries from Fiji up to Papua New Guinea, are the people. They have hands down been the friendliest people we've ever met. Papua New Guinea does have areas that we wouldn't ever dare go to, but in these remote communities, there's an innocence and separation from any sort of corruption. There aren't even any police. There isn't a need for them. They just live in perfect harmony, with the elders and the chiefs holding all the respect needed to instill values in everyone from such a young age, like how to simply be kind and caring. Just being in these places makes you feel a certain way, and it is a privilege we'll never ever forget.
See you tomorrow!
Good morning, guys. It is 9 o'clock in the morning. We are in the Ninigo Islands and it's already about 30 degrees Celsius. You could probably hear the dogs panting away behind me already. I just spent an hour chopping up all the fruits and putting them in freezer bags that the locals brought us yesterday. Fresh coconuts, fresh papaya, fresh banana, squeezing pamplemousses and oranges. And it's just such a great way to wake up. You know, normally I would jump straight on my computer, but it's such a just more enriching and wholesome way to wake up here. I'm pretty blown away by not just the beauty of the island, but the people as well. They live such a different life. It's so simple here. Yeah, it's very, very cool to be here.
But as I mentioned in a previous episode, the northwest monsoon was fast approaching, and we needed to sail to the northwest, so we had to make the most of the light wind conditions we were currently experiencing to cover some ground towards Indonesia. But before we could leave this atoll, we had to go on one last mission, which involved our Starlink internet. So we headed down towards Mal Island, right through the middle of the sailing canoe fleet.
Okay, so yesterday they couldn't finish the first race because the wind died. So this morning they set off again, and there's hardly any wind. There's a little bit. We're creating most of this wind. But we're moving down to an island in the south called Mal Island, and we're just coming straight through the entire fleet now. So this will be, I think, the replay of race number 1 from yesterday. So unfortunately we won't get to see a finish, but everyone's moving so slowly, and it's a 9-mile race. so it takes them a long time to get done. But here they are. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 boats.
The conditions were definitely not ideal for a sailing race, but they were all out there regardless for a shot at winning that 10,000 Kina prize money. We never did hear who won that race in Ninigo. However, Robert from last week's episode sent me some photos of the progress of his own canoe, which was amazing to see. I've got no idea how he got internet, but now his Facebook account is deleted, so I'm not exactly sure if I'll ever hear from him again, which makes me super sad. Hopefully he gets in touch again one day, otherwise I'm just going to have to sail back here on our next circumnavigation.
We've just arrived at Mal Island. The reason we're here is we met Richard in the Hermit Islands, and they borrowed internet off our friends and said that his sister, her name's Dedo, urgently needs to contact her husband with the Wi-Fi, with our Starlink. So here we are to deliver some internet to Richard's sister.
We anchored in beautiful sand, and within seconds a boat came out and approached us. In some of the countries we've been to, a boat fast approaching sometimes means danger, but in these remote islands, that has become the last thing we've come to expect.
We are looking for Dedo.
Dedo rice here.
She?
Yeah.
That's Richard's sister?
Yeah.
Does she need to contact her husband?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah?
And we come here to bring you this.
Ah, it's a book?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And sure enough, it was gifts and a visitor book for the few and far between sailors who have come out this far off the beaten track. We offered them internet, and they quickly accepted and informed the rest of the families on this island. There was a melody of pings and rings, gasps and laughs as they slowly made contact with the outside world, and it was an absolute pleasure to be able to do this for them, which apparently is a very rare treat for them.
So I don't know if Richard's sister has come or not. There's just been boats coming and going all day, but it's just pretty amazing to be able to give them the gift of Wi-Fi, because they only ever have Wi-Fi when boats are passing through here, which is not very often because we are so remote right now. We're literally on the coming up to the border of Indonesia and Papua New Guinea, and the locals, a few of them have the capabilities to have WhatsApp messages or Facebook messages. So I guess they're catching up with family and who knows where. But we have to say a huge thank you to FMC GlobalSat, who are our internet provider. We partnered with them about 1.5 years ago, and I don't know if you guys remember, we did the live crossing the equator, sailing from Mexico to Marquesas. So that was just a demonstration of just how lucky we are to have, the Starlink internet that FMC set us up with. So FMC, I know you're watching, thank you guys so much. Because of you guys, we're able to do this for them. And I don't know how this works, but they can get better rates than going straight to Starlink themselves. So yeah, link in the description.
They were so grateful to be connected for the evening and kept bringing us coconuts as a thank you. So even the boys got their share of island goodness the next morning. It was all happening this morning, with some unlikely visitors paying us a visit. They also wanted to use some Wi-Fi, I guess.
Just scrubbing the gel coat from all the coconut stains. And 2 squid just popped by to say hi.
They actually hung around for quite a while, but we eventually had to say goodbye as our buddy boats had caught up to us, and we were going to convoy together to Indonesia, leaving Papua New Guinea behind, but never forgotten.
Okay, we got 2 buddy boats, and our other friends are up ahead of them as well. So 4 boats, 500 miles, Indonesia, let's go.
We again had little to no wind to start with, which is a sign that the seasons are changing as we speak. So we were possibly stepping out into one of the last weather windows to sail west before the relentless northwesterlies kick in. We weren't even out of the atoll yet when a huge pod of dolphins joined us, and we encouraged Ryan to hop in to try have one of those once in a lifetime moments. And man, did he ever.
So we got a bunch of dolphins, there's so many. So we see, we put a line off the bow, just seeing if Ryan can sneak in with them. There's like 20 of them right here. You right? Yeah. Oh!
I was almost 100% sure they were going to swim away, like pretty much every single other time we've tried to swim with them. But I was shocked to see them stick around, and Ryan legitimately got to swim with a whole pot of dolphins.
First time I've ever seen them hang around. That was amazing.
You lucky bastard.
I think I can die happy now. That was like, yeah, top 5 experiences of my whole life. Maybe number 1, I don't know.
Real.
Woo!
Great way to start your morning.
Absolutely.
Great way to start the passage.
But it wouldn't be a Parlay passage without a little mishap. So a few hours into our sail, we got our first one.
Okay, we've had the spinnaker up, sailing beautifully, and a squall came, so we put the spinnaker away, we doused it with the sock, and now the squall's passed, we went to put it back up, and Jamie kind of lost control of the sock, and the line's swinging up in the air, and it's the only way we can really douse it unless we like bring the whole spinnaker down by hand. So we're gonna try see if we can get the dowsing line back down. So I'm going to release the tack line, and then the spinnaker is just going to start flogging around, and then hopefully we can pull enough of that line down to retrieve it.
So what happened here was that we hadn't tied a stopper knot at the end of the tack line, and in all the flogging around of the sail, the tack line had pulled completely through the jammers and blocks, so was now in the water beside the boat. So we had to douse the spinnaker one last time before deploying it again, at which point we were on our merry way, headed for Indonesia, until a big unmarked boat came a little close for comfort towards our buddy boat, who was a solo sailor, so we wanted to have his back.
Just out in the middle of nowhere here, we're about 30 miles off Ninigo, and there's a boat, pretty big boat, going straight towards Jamali, our buddy boat. And they don't have AIS on or anything.
What does neighborhood watch say?
It's just an old fishing trawler out there, heading straight for Ralph.
Do they have some fish to sell us?
The fish's ears must have been burning, because next minute we were fish on.
Nice one.
Yeah, big one.
It was a beauty as well, so we had to get a pic for Jamie's Instagram, and there's a certain way to hold it to make it look bigger if you didn't know.
Hold the tail towards you and then head forward.
Okay, while we're at it, we might as well get the group shot too. Anyway, we continued on towards Indo and just plodded along, ticking off around 6 nautical miles every hour. Sailing is a game of patience sometimes, where it doesn't really feel like you're making much progress until the hours become days, and only then do you start to notice a noteworthy drop in the distance to waypoint number. If nothing exciting is happening, it's just an opportunity to be present and enjoy the ride. But out here, that serenity can all change in a second.
Good morning, guys. We're about 200 miles out from Biak, Indonesia. I want to share a funny story that happened with me last night. So if getting shat on by a bird is good luck, then I might have 10 years of good luck coming for me, because last night, in the dead of sleep, hatch is open, all of a sudden I feel like water splashing on my legs, and I thought, maybe it's raining, the sail bag's open, it caught some water, I didn't feel it, and it's just splashed on my legs. So I go to close the hatch, and then I noticed this like horrible, terrible smell. I flicked on the lights, and it was a bird. A bird had shit straight through the hatch onto my legs, onto the bed sheets, onto the pillow beside me, and it was the most foul smell I've ever smelt. Before we closed the hatch, I just looked up really quick with my iPhone, like just with the light, and the bird was hanging off the boom, just his butt, just his ass was hanging right off the boom in the direct sight line of the hatch. So, a little bit of a funny story, a little bit of a gross story, but hopefully good luck.
We actually got really lucky this passage and got to sail in light downwind conditions for the majority of it. Anytime I'm not running the engines, I'm grateful, and spinnaker sailing would be the most comfortable of all sail plans. It's tempting to think that sailing with the wind is free, but I think every sailor would agree that that's far from true, as wear and tear on the gear usually ends in costly breakdown, maintenance or repairs at every port you end up in. The jobs list just doesn't ever seem to get any shorter, but yes, when sailing, we aren't burning any fuel, which is a beautiful thing. Before long, we were on our last night's passage and awoke in the morning to the sight of Indonesia off our starboard side. As mentioned, we had chosen Biak as our first port of call, as we had heard nothing but good things about this place. We were going to be assisted in the clearance procedure by Nirmala Dive Resort, right here in Biak, so we anchored out the front to start the process.
Made it to Indonesia. It's a pretty exciting feeling going from one country to another. This is the dive resort, the Nirmala Dive Resort, and they're going to help clear us in today. Of course it was a race because we had two other boats going in the same direction, but we beat 2 50-foot honor hulls. So it was a really good passage. We basically put the spinnaker up and then didn't bring it down until this morning. So 3 days of pretty ideal downwind sailing actually. We didn't film anything because nothing happened. It was just spinnaker up and away we went. The currents around here are crazy. Coming down here, 2.5 knots. And one thing to be aware of if you are doing this trip is all the logs. There's a river called the Temu River in West Papua, and just so many logs of all different shapes and sizes come out there and end up out in the middle of the sea. And that was a really good passage with that 2.5 knot current behind us nearly all the way. I think our average was about 7.3, so that's moving pretty good with true wind of between 10 to 15 knots. But no, it's good to be in Indo. Can't wait to go diving. How was the sail over? Your first blue water experience, really?
Well, that would be my third passage now, so I would say I'm an old salty dog, hold the salty dog.
Okay,
so I'm just old.
First international sail.
Yeah, I don't know, it's the same as the other one. What do you want me to say? Imaginary line in the sea.
Ryan loves sailing. Ryan loves passages.
Alrighty, here come customs, immigration, biosecurity, health, all in the boat there. So it's always kind of nerve-wracking, even though we're doing nothing wrong. It's just like you just want it to go smoothly. Plus, I never know really what Jamie's hiding down there, so if they do a search, could be big problems.
You're gonna find some dirty clothes at the moment.
Oh, dirty underwear.
If skitty undies were illegal, then we would be big trouble. How are you, mate? Good, how's it going? Good. Ahmed? Ahmed. How you guys doing?
Hi.
Welcome.
This was our first interaction with Indonesian officials, and we were greeted with warm smiles and welcoming handshakes.
Brittany, good to meet you.
My nervousness about having the authorities on board quickly disappeared, and we effortlessly went through the motions and were soon finished with the customs part of the process.
1, 2, 3. Welcome to Biak.
That was hands down the most easy and pleasant clearing we've had in a long time. I think that would make up for Vanuatu.
Yeah, super easy. Well, that's stage 1. Stage 1 is customs. Stage 2 is immigration, and then stage 3 is the harbour master. But they're gonna go do all the boats first, so this is gonna take all day, but everyone's so friendly. They heard about the YouTube channel and we all had a little photo together.
That's cute.
Yeah, super cool. So hopefully we're cleared in by the end of the day.
Who's happy to be in Indonesia?
Yeah! So soaked.
Yeah, first time?
This is not my first time to Indo, but it's my first time to Biak. I thought we were free. I thought I was getting off the boat to go get a hamburger, but apparently I'm stuck here for a little while longer. But like Colin said, it's been super easy so far.
It wasn't long before we were on our way to immigration for step 2 of the clearance process, in a private van organised by Ahmed at the dive resort. This was even better than the customs part, where we were greeted with free snacks and fresh coffee.
What is going on? Is this real life?
And just like that, we were legally cleared into the country, and that also means we're now able to leave the country, which is exactly what we're going to do next week, when we fly to LA to meet my good friends Marcos and Alicia from Below Deck, to take some of our patrons on the trip of a lifetime to Catalina Island, where the chefs battle it out preparing world-class meals, but on catamarans instead of super yachts.
Is that homemade? Yeah. Or was that ready whip?
Yep. Fresh from the grocery store.
Did Alicia make this?
Oh!